Imagine leading a country where half the population is literally fighting to leave. Your own generals doubt you. Your citizens are dying. And, to top it all off, you have to decide whether to shatter the very foundation of the nation's economy, slavery, in the middle of a brutal civil war. This was the impossible life of Abraham Lincoln, the man who started in a log cabin and ended up redefining what it meant to be American. His journey wasn't just about power. It was about preserving a fragile union and fighting for a new birth of freedom. So, how did a man born in a log cabin save a shattered nation and redefine what freedom truly means? Born in 1809 in a humble one-room log cabin in Kentucky, Lincoln's formal education amounted to less than a single year. He was almost entirely self-taught, devouring every book he could get his hands on, reading by the dim light of the fireplace after a long day's work. Picture this tall, sometimes awkward young man, known more for his incredible storytelling and sharp wit than for his social graces. His early career was a masterclass in persistence. He failed in business. He lost his first bid for the state legislature. He even failed in a run for Congress. But through all these setbacks, he never stopped studying law, philosophy, and human nature. He built a reputation for unshakable honesty and integrity, earning the nickname that would stick with him forever, Honest Abe. This humble, persistent, and deeply thoughtful background wasn't a detour. It was the very forge that created the character America would desperately need to face its greatest crisis. When Lincoln finally stepped onto the national political stage, the country was a powder keg, and the fuse was slavery. The North and South were so deeply divided that it felt like they were two different nations sharing a continent. Lincoln was morally opposed to slavery. He believed it was a monstrous injustice. But as a politician, his primary goal, at first, was to stop its spread into new territories and, above all else, to preserve the Union. He saw the United States as the world's last, best hope for democracy, and he couldn't bear to see it fail. Then, in 1860, he was elected president. The moment the results came in, the nation fractured. 7 southern states immediately seceded, forming their own government, the Confederacy. Soon after, the first shots were fired, and the Civil War began. Lincoln's early presidency was an absolute nightmare. The Union Army suffered one devastating loss after another. In the North, public opinion was turning against the war. Many people were calling for him to just let the South go. The pressure to compromise, to give in, was immense. But Lincoln was relentless. He famously cycled through general after general, searching for leaders who had the will to actually fight and win. He understood something fundamental. If the Union was lost, the great global experiment in self-government would be lost with it. But the war wasn't just about territory or politics. It was about the soul of the nation, and in 1863, Lincoln made the single most audacious and consequential move of his life. He issued the Emancipation Proclamation. This executive order declared that all enslaved people in the Confederate States were, from that moment on, free. On one level, this was a brilliant military strategy. It encouraged enslaved people to escape their bondage and join the Union cause, weakening the Confederacy from within. But on a much deeper level, it fundamentally changed the moral purpose of the war. It was no longer just a fight to save the Union. It was now a revolutionary struggle for human freedom. The war had a new, higher calling. Lincoln's resolve and vision reached their poetic peak later that year in the Gettysburg Address. Standing on a battlefield where thousands had died, he delivered one of the most powerful speeches in history. In just a few minutes, he redefined the conflict, declaring that the nation must have a new birth of freedom, ensuring that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. It was a promise, not just for America, but for the world. By 1865, after 4 long bloody years, the Union had won. The war was over. Lincoln had done the impossible. He had saved the nation from collapsing and had brought an end to the institution of slavery. In his final speeches, he didn't call for revenge or punishment. Instead, he offered a vision of healing and reconciliation, urging citizens to act with malice toward none, with charity for all, and to bind up the nation's wounds. Tragically, just days after the Confederate surrender, while attending a play, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. His death was a national trauma, cementing his status as a martyr for the causes of freedom and unity. His legacy is more than just a monument in Washington. It's the enduring ideal of a self-made leader who rose from nothing. It's the ultimate testament to the power and resilience of democracy. And it's the permanent, radical promise that all people are created equal. Lincoln's life proves that true leadership isn't just about preserving what is, but courageously forging what must be. His story is one of incredible resilience and moral courage. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, leadership and a commitment to justice can change the world. So I have a question for you. What leader, living or dead, inspires you the most and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to read them. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories about the lives that shaped our world. We'll see you in the next one.